what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2024 Kia Sorento X-Line EX. Up front is a 2.5-liter turbocharged inline-4, and down below is an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, I'm super excited to be driving this Kia Sorento because they have updated it for the 2024 model year. You'll notice that with the different headlights and taillights, some interior garnishes, as well as new wheel designs, which I am a big fan of. And so I'm going to walk you through this Sorento here today, talk about the drivetrain, talk about the interior, exterior, seating arrangements, and all of the goodies that make this car worth $43,000. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. Also, a huge thank you to Gerald Kia for letting me take out their Sorento. More on them towards the end of the video, but if you'd like to browse their inventory, it'll be linked in the description below. But let's get back to that 2.5-liter turbocharged inline-4 under the hood. Well, it makes 281 horsepower, which is a really great figure. However, you can get a naturally aspirated 2.5-liter in the Sorento as well, and that makes 191. At this price point, the turbo is definitely the way to go, at least in terms of being competitive with its other vehicles that it's going up against, like the Mazda CX-90, Subaru Ascent, other 3-rows in that category. So I definitely like the 2.5-liter turbo, and there also is a hybrid version of the Sorento available as well, if you would like a hybrid. Like I said, paired to it is an 8-speed automatic transmission. It is a dual-clutch transmission, and when this generation of Sorento came out in 2021, these transmissions did have a couple of issues, like Hyundai is now seeing with the Santa Fe. However, it seems as though over time, Kia has worked out some of the kinks and issues with this 8-speed, and it seems to be pretty reliable at this point, but of course, time will tell. Last but not least about the drivetrain, it is all-wheel drive. However, you can find front-wheel drive Sorentos if that's what you would like. How does it feel to drive the Kia Sorento? It drives pretty nice. Touch of road noise here and there, sure, but nothing really too crazy. The ride is pretty basic. Again, nothing interesting there. And overall, it drives like a 3-row, but not a huge 3-row. I don't feel like I'm commanding the looks and desires of everyone who I pass on the road. It just feels like a slightly bigger Sportage, and I think that's what Kia was going for. They have the Telluride, which does feel a lot larger than this with their 3-row, and the EV9 is another 3-row that does feel larger. So if you're a little intimidated by driving larger cars, I think the Sorento is a really good choice. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, one of the biggest updates for 2024 is this screen in front of me for the gauges. Here's the gauge cluster of a 2021 Kia Sorento, in case you were curious of what's changed in this update. Not only do I really like the design, but now it sort of flows into the center screen, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. But overall, I think it's really nice and presentable. However, I would have liked to have seen when you switch drive modes, the colors would switch, but not the end of the world there. On the steering wheel, on the left, we have our voice commands mode, volume, skip track, phone, and favorite options. And off to the right, we have our pages icon and our cruise control, as well as steering assist. And I like the overall steering wheel. I think it looks good, pretty presentable, and I don't have any notes. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent, as well as our gauge dimmer switch, power tailgate, and traction control. And moving on to the door, we have our power mirrors, power locks, and power windows. Moving into the center, we get that screen that sort of blends into the gauge cluster screen we mentioned earlier. And here you'll find wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and of course phone options and all of those goodies. And here's the backup camera in case you're curious. I think it has decently high quality, and that's what I look for. Down below, we have our climate control vents and our hazard switch. And then we get a very interesting panel. So if you're unfamiliar with what Kia's been doing in their recent vehicles, this panel operates as not only climate controls, but also radio controls. And honestly, day by day, my opinion on this switches back and forth. Because A, I think this is a really good use of space. It doesn't clutter the interior. However, it still offers the buttons that aren't ran through the touchscreen. So in that regard, I like it a lot. However, this morning, I was trying to turn the radio down, and I couldn't find how to do that until I remembered remembered that this is a dual operational panel and I had to switch the mode and then I was able to switch it. Just annoying. So I flip-flop back and forth. You can make your own opinions there. Down below, we do have a wireless charger as well as 2 USB-Cs, which I think is really interesting because you can have it charge and run into the radio or just charge, which is very cool. Hyundai and Kia products have been doing this as of recent, and I think it's very smart. We do have heated seats on this sort of outside of that pocket, if you will. And then moving into the center, we have the shifter. Pretty run-of-the-mill Kia shifter. It is shaped a little bit more angular than other Kia shifters, but I like that. I think it fits the look of the car. And down below, we have our drive mode. So we have Eco, Sport, Smart, Normal, and Snow. All pretty self-explanatory there. Smart will sort of watch and learn your driving habits and pick what mode might be best for you. And then we have buttons for our automatic start stop on and off, our auto holding brake, our hill descent control, power parking brake, parking sensors, and our camera button. Off to the right, we do have cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test, and unfortunately it fails. However, the outgoing Sorento failed as well, so nothing new here. Then we get a center console and the seats. The seats are comfortable, they are power and heated, and I've loved every part of it. They're not stiff, my back isn't hurting after filming this video, and so that's a very good thing. However, speaking of seats, we have 2 more rows of seating. So let's go do some backseat reviews. All right, so we're in the second row of the new Kia Sorento from 2024, and a couple of things to note. First of all, I'm 5'11", not a small guy, never been called a small guy. And I fit back here really, really well. I have cup holders in the doors, I have 2 vents down below, and a 12-volt outlet. Headroom, good. Like I said, plenty of space up top, and my knees don't have a prayer of hitting the seat in front of me. This is really, really good news. However, I feel like that might mean that the back seats aren't as great, but we'll get there when we get there. The wood accents from the front carry on back here. I have a grab handle. I have a light that is LED. Some cars coming out today still have old, like, incandescent style lights, and that's no good. So overall, I'm actually really impressed with this second row. But let's see if those feelings carry on when we hop into the third row. All right. That wasn't supposed to happen. Okay, so with that seat moved up, which they still have some leg room, but not a lot, this is wonderful. Obviously, with the seat all the way back as it was, it's not great, but it's also not terrible. I'm very impressed with this back seat space. It's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Would I want to be stuck back here forever and ever and ever? No, but honestly, it's livable. If someone said, hey, Zach, you got to get in the third row for this 45-minute car ride, I would throw a fit, but mostly because I just enjoy throwing fits. But it wouldn't be the end of the world, and I would say, okay, and then I'd do it, and it would be fine. I would still have my legs at the end of the ride, which can't be said about some 3-row SUVs. So I think this is a pretty good size. Like I said, with the driving feel, it doesn't feel super large, but honestly, the interior packaging back here is done pretty well. Let's hop into the very back and take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. Right around the back of the 2024 Kia Sorento, press and hold here on the key fob, and it does have a power-operated tailgate. However, when we do come up here, it says tailgate release button is under here. So, a little bit note of that. We could also do a power liftgate adjustment. Once we are back here, these are the floor mats for the first owner. We don't want to muddy those up. However, we can pull and push these seats. It's hard to do one-handed while holding a GoPro, but there you go. And then you get some really nice cargo room. I forgot to mention, you also do have USB-C outlets in the third row, which is really nice. And we do have a power-operated second row. So, a little button here. There you go. And there you go. So, at the push of a button, you don't have to walk around. You can have all the seats fold flat, which I think is absolutely wonderful. Nothing really else too crazy to write home. We do have a 12-volt outlet, and we can pull this up. We do get some storage space down below. Come back up here, press the button. Power folding tailgate around the back of the Kia Sorento, which is always very nice to see. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I really, really like the look of the updated Sorento. That's why I wanted to do this video, because I kept seeing them, and I was like, oh, I gotta film one. I think it was a very handsome update. I think the wheels especially definitely look like more modern Kia wheels, just the direction in which they're going. It almost has a sort of retro feel to it, but still a modern taste, and I like that a lot. I think the front end is attractive. I think the back end is attractive. I think overall, it's just a good-looking SUV, and I think the update for 2024 2024 just enhanced that. It wasn't a bad looking SUV beforehand, but now looking at the older SUVs seen here, this is a 2021, that just looks old now. This looks new, this looks hot, this looks fresh, and that is very exciting to see. However, with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the redesigned, updated, and refreshed Kia Sorento X-Line EX? Well, I like it a lot. I will say I like it a lot. The good points are, A, the looks. I think it looks wonderful. I like the drivetrain. I like the 2.5 liter, and I like that it doesn't have a CVT. Really, really enjoy that it doesn't have a CVT. And like I said, I'm pretty sure that they worked out most of the issues with that 8-speed, so I'm not too worried about it at this point in the Sorento's life. I think it has good tech in here. I don't love that switchable panel on the inside, like I said, but that is a drop in the bucket. I love the wireless charger. I love the heated seats, the different drive modes, the center locking diff, the new gauge cluster. I think it all works really well. And so, as a reviewer, I feel as though it's my job to pick and point and prod and figure stuff out and tear stuff down, but honestly, here today, I don't really have any complaints. Now, I don't think the Sorento is the most special SUV in the world, and if you pulled up to a red carpet event, I don't think you get many eyes, but that's not what everyone's going for. Sometimes you just want a solid 3-row for your family, and well, this is a pretty good option. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Gerald Kia in Naperville for letting me take out their Kia Sorento EX. Gerald Kia in Naperville has been absolutely wonderful to work with. We've worked together for years and years and years. I've never had an issue with them. I've always been very friendly with their staff, and they've been friendly to me. So if you're in the Chicagoland area and are in need of a new vehicle, I highly recommend checking out Gerald Kia in Naperville. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.